What is it? April 7th of the year of our Lord 2026. And we are going to be on episode 59. How exciting! I'm excited. I still had a couple minutes. Maybe I'll pull a card from my shadow deck. I got this ethereal shadow deck. Pretty cool. Today we're going to be talking about nervous system governance, and it's not going to be nervous system 101. If you want that kind of information, I did so many of them last year. Just about basic nervous system 101. Kindred is in the house. Hello, love. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. We're just doing a quick card pull. We'll see what kind of energy we're dealing with. But I am your host, Amelie, and I am the host of this beautiful podcast called Celestic Intelligence Podcast. And like I said, today is episode 59. It's hard to believe I got to 59. I think they say most podcasts don't make it past episode 20. Today, the microwave smokes. How does that happen? I've never had that happen before. Well, look at this crazy. Speaking of speaking of smoke, we got this wand energy, Three of Wands. My parents are at a concert. Oof. Well, hopefully you guys can get that figured out. Um, well, let's take a moment to breathe. Just reset back into our bodies. Maybe put your hand on your heart and your stomach. Take a deep breath and just be really, really cognizant about that hand on your body as I read about the Three of Wands. How's that sound? I unplugged it. Luckily, everything was okay. I didn't open it for like 30 minutes, and I called my parents and told them what happened. That's kind of crazy. All right, well, let's see what the Three of Wands has to say about it. So, Three of Wands upright is about expansion, it's about confidence, and it's about foresight, okay? That's the energy that we're busting through today. So, Three of Wands is a card of growth, having established a solid foundation. One is going through with the construction or the pre established plan. Expanding, thriving, dreaming big. This card indicates that success and growth are on the horizon. It is time to explore new opportunities and ventures and taking risks in order to achieve greater success. I think this is a great card for this episode that we have going on today. Like I said, we're going to be talking about nervous system governance. This is not nervous system 101. If you want nervous system 101, go back into the earlier podcasts. I delved deeply into it last year. Today we're going to be chatting about a little bit deeper. We're going to be expanding a little bit more on what that is and how to integrate that, okay? So, when we're talking about nervous system governance, what we're talking about is memory. So, memory is definitely part of the brain. Gnosis, which is a heart knowing. And we're going to be talking about the body all together incorporated as a living archive of your life, okay? Your body is not simply reacting to what is present, okay? Your body stores memory in it. So it's reacting to what happened in the past. And then with all of that information, it's predicting the future. Okay. So most people are making decisions from memories that they have not met yet. All right. They have not met those. I think so also because yesterday I went home from work and I think it's time for something new. It definitely, there's lots of new things going on. There's lots of new things going on. I can feel it in my body. There's lots of new things going on. We're kind of in that springtime newness, after the post equinox. The things are just getting started, okay? The little seeds have been planted and now we're going in a new direction. Okay, so first let's talk about that archive, okay? The body is an archive. I did a really fascinating episode last year. I don't even know if it was part of my podcast, but it was called Blood and Bones. And as I'm like mapping out the digital age and all this technology and how does it relate to the body and how are we connecting with our body. Oh, I forgot your birthday. Oh, dang it. I was playing a bunch of I got Mario Party. Happy birthday. Oh, I can't even see it. Are people being weird? I can't even see it. So that's all good. I don't even see it, so it's all good. Um, yes, happy birthday on Sunday. I should have put a memory thing in my phone, so I apologize for that. Um, but happy birthday. When you fart, does your ears tingle? Um, no, it doesn't, Jason. If that's happening to you, that's pretty weird. Should probably go to the doctor and get that checked out. Okay, so let's talk about the body as an archive. Okay, this is what is referred to as somatic memory, is that body archive. So last year, here I am. I'm just going along, and I'm looking at you know this whole nervous system business and really diving into how technology is infiltrating our bodies, our minds. Why are we so anxious, nervous as a society? What's going on? And how can how can I best pinpoint what these triggers are for people? And so the bones actually hold memories. So when your bones, if you know about rare earth elements, um, what do they call them? REEs, rare earth elements. Okay, um, they're they have a certain magnetism in them, so they could be pulling things in or they can be pushing things out because that's how a magnet works. Now your bones are actually pulling information in. That's the structure of your bones are like that. And then if you look closely at the bones, they have these grids that look kind of comb like a honeycomb, comb like. And so not only is it pulling information in, like physical information into the body, when you travel to different areas, um, when you travel to different areas, you're actually like the isotopes from that environment are pulling into your body. So that's why a lot of people when they return home, um, they have a certain feeling. If you're out traveling, you might have these certain experiences that happen. Like your body is reacting to the magnetic, the paramagnetic, and the diamagnetic um, geology of whatever space that you're in. Okay, that's why when you go to the beach, it's like you have a bunch of crystals that you're kind of just chilling on, and all this coral, and so it's like affecting your body where it's expanding the energy. All right. So that's just a little preface. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. It was called Bones and Blood, was the name of the podcast, or the stream that I did. So the body as an archive, having that somatic memory. So before your brain and before any language, so any anything being said, before your brain is able to analyze and figure out like what's going on here, your body is recording a few things. So one, it's recording a tone of voice. So if you go and you meet somebody, the first thing that you hear and or see, maybe the tone of their voice, the way that they say hi, or if they don't say hi, you might see their facial expressions. Their facial expression is gonna, you're gonna see that, and it's going to be recorded as a somatic memory into your body. Okay, you can feel the tension in a room. Like if you're just walking into a room, you can feel the tension. If you're walking into the room, you can feel the lightness. You're like, hey, what's going on? Like you want to know a little bit more about it. Mike's in the house. I know she is got a high IQ also. I can't see all the chats. I can just see top fans. So you guys, you're what matters. But you can feel the tension in a room. And part of that is because we have entrainment. Our bodies are designed to connect with one another. Okay. So we can feel that tension in a room. We can feel the lightness in a room. Okay. Within 2 minutes, you should have pretty much all the emotions in the room clocked. Um, we feel moments of shock, betrayal, and abandonment. Okay. And that gets stored as an archive somatically in the body. And we also feel moments of safety, warmth, and attunement. So all of those things are also wrapped in. So before anything happens, your body is already clocking all of this information before you even get too deep into interaction with somebody. This is what is known as somatic memory. Okay, it's a body archive of information. So it's being recorded. Okay, this is not stories, these are not narratives. This is just muscle tension, posture, breathing patterns, gut responses, and heart rhythm. Okay, so if you're feeling muscle tension, like I have muscle tension that usually like pops in up here. Um, and I'm very aware of that. Okay. Maybe other muscle tension might be your leg tenses up, or a posture. Somebody walks in a room and you get this feeling and you're just kind of like scrunch up, or somebody walks in a room and then you like feel relieved. Okay. Both of these are true. We're just expanding and contracting based on what information that we're receiving from our body. It's giving us this information. Breathing patterns, you might be breathing really, like let's say you're laying on a beach. Your breathing is really relaxed. You're just like laying there, just no worries in the world. Oh, I got some cool. Will we have drinks? Aw, look, Mike remembered. Let's have drinks. I don't feel like drinking right now, but so you notice those breathing patterns, or maybe something is kind of putting you on edge, and you're like, I kind of feel a little threatened right now, and so you stop breathing. Or maybe that's just because of your survival adaptation. You just take shallow breaths, and that's how you you got cake. What kind of cake? That emoji cake actually looks really good. So we got breath patterns and then gut responses. I was going through reels, and I probably shouldn't even be, I don't know where my algorithm took me, but it took me down this really weird path on Facebook. Well, actually my algorithm on Facebook is just weird. So I'm trying to watch a lot of nature videos to kind of clean it up a little bit. But I got on this, the guy's called, I don't even know his name, but his handle is called Bitches Ain't Shit. And it's kind of like a train wreck where you're just like, what's going on with this? And, I've been pretty far removed. Just my feed on Instagram is like very travel-y, very girly. And then my feed on um, YouTube is usually like true crime or like these really nice meditations. And then music. And so it's like really clean and nice. But then I'm on Facebook and it's just kind of a weird algorithm. And I feel like it's just watching a train wreck. And so I'm listening to this guy and he's talking about hypergamy and um, how crappy women are basically, and then how to be a player, just kind of like hustler you territory. And like I don't know anything about the guy, and immediately my stomach just like scrunched up. I had an immediate gut reaction, and I was like, "This like bitches ain't shit. You're the bitch." That was my immediate reaction. Like, what are you? What's the point of like you don't like obviously you don't like women and you want to use them up and like you're kind of perpetuating what you don't like. What like what's then go date men. Like you're just going to be pulling in all these women that you don't like. I don't know. But anyways, I had a gut response and that was my gut response and I was like, I don't know what my algorithm did to get me here, but it did. My favorite cake, well, okay. I don't really like cake. Um I prefer pie if I was going to have that. But the reason I don't like cake is because I don't like frosting. Oh yeah, cheesecake. I do like cheesecake, but I don't really like frosting. I think it all tastes funny. I don't know. Not my favorite. I'm not a fan of buttercream frosting. There, I said it on the internet. Homemade. It's not sweet. It's not the sweetness. It's like I don't know. I just don't like the texture. Even like cupcakes. If I get a cupcake, I'll like take all the frosting off and just eat the cake. So it doesn't make sense for me to eat cake because that's kind of silly. Pie, like it doesn't even matter. I just like the crust of pie, but I usually make galettes. Hi, Hannah Lucy. Hello. I usually make galettes, which is basically a pie crust, and you put all your ingredients in, and then you fold it over. If you've never had a galette, and I usually make mushroom galettes, wild mushroom galettes. All right. So gut responses and then heart rhythm. You can definitely feel your heart rhythm. Okay. You can feel it speeding up. That heart is not going to lie. You can feel it speeding up. You can feel it slowing down. You can feel it flutter. So there's lots of feeling going on in that heart space, which we're going to get to in a. Oh, somebody's losing it out there. Okay. But that heart rhythm is like something is it has to speed up and so it's not lying to you, so you can definitely feel when things are going awry, but your body doesn't remember what happened. Okay, your body doesn't remember what happened. Your brain will remember what happened, but your body doesn't remember what happened, but it remembers how it felt when that thing happened. Okay, so if if you experience, let's say you experience some sort of betrayal, which a lot of people do, they'll experience betrayal. It'll be stored somewhere in their body, and maybe they don't even remember that the betrayal happened. They've kind of just like put it in some like little nook in the brain and locked away the key and threw it out or whatever. And but the body still is holding that betrayal somewhere. Okay, the body still is holding it. So it has that beautiful memory, which is important, okay? But it doesn't remember what happened, okay? It's not logically remembering what happened. So that tension in your neck, who knows what it's from? This is for the whole body to figure out and regulate. It's okay. No, it's not. Fluttering. Flutter. Like trauma, I seen somebody doing some healing that the trauma was stored in the people's hips or their spine. It was pretty weird. Yeah, that there's this what's her name? She's in LA, like this California lady that oh, I can't remember her handle, but her stories will pop up and she's like pinpointing in the muscles these different traumas and she'll get the people that she's working on to like voice what they're dealing with, okay? So first, the body. So we're going to be talking about three areas: the body, and then the brain, and then the heart. Okay. So moving on to the brain, this is the narrator regulator. Okay. So the brain, it really is like the logical part of this. All right. I did the female trinity on Thursday, and now we're doing this like body trinity right now. Um, so we've got the body, and then we've got the brain. All right. It's the narrator, it's the regulator. So the brain is trying to organize what the experience is. It's trying to organize it so that it can lay out what it's trying to logically put together. The brain also creates the meaning, okay? It's the meaning maker of the body. So that brain is important to create meaning with whatever the situation is. The brain also, it's predicting outcomes. So this prefrontal cortex is doing all this analyzing, and then it's looking at everything and trying to interpret and then predict that outcome. Remember, we were talking about the present body is looking at the past and then trying to, this is the nervous system governance. The body is looking at the past and then predicting the future. So whatever information is stored, that information is being utilized to predict these future outcomes. Okay? And then finally, the brain tries to keep you safe through whatever logical means it can. Okay? The brain is really like this kind of masculine, let's figure out a strategy to keep you safe. It was kind of scary. They had people lying on the table and they were screaming and their whole body was jolting. Yeah. I mean, if you think about traumatizing experiences where maybe it's physical trauma, where you're abused physically, maybe it was just betrayal sits in the body. Like your heart definitely feels that. We're going to get into that. Um, but yeah, all of these things will come out because it's somatically kept as an archive in your body until you're able to release it. Okay. And I watch a lot of, it's called AITA Comfort Level Podcast. I think it's called Comfort Level Podcast, where the girl sits and reads, like, Am I the asshole for, like, from this Reddit feed? And some of those people go through some pretty traumatic experiences. And I'm just like, oh my word. All right. So the brain is trying to say this, it's trying to get everything to say, this makes sense. This is safe. This is different now. But the brain, while it's going through the information, um, the body, it's going through information, but the body is what updates that experience. So the body has to be online to update the experience because your brain will just kind of put the story together to where, okay, now you're able to like survive and you've adapted. Okay. So you kind of get this split. If these aren't working together, you get this split where mentally you've moved on. All right. But physically, you might still be bracing. You might still have tightness in your back. You might still have tightness in your legs, your arms, or wherever that is stored. You might even have like maybe there's gut issues, maybe um, There's just different pains in your body, and you start to notice them. Maybe you've got pain in your pelvic region. Like all of this, the body is storing all of that information, that somatic memory in the body. And the body is what updates through experience, right? So, if those are split, it's not working together, all right? It's kind of working against each other. Now, let's move on to the heart. Now, the heart is a pretty amazing organ. And I'm really fascinated. I just watched this, I think it was a student or maybe somebody that was going to graduate in the medical field. And there's a lot of different information out there about the heart where it's not just a pump. Like the heart is a lot more than just that. And there's a term gnosis, which is like heart knowing. This is where all that emotional memory is. Like we think about our hearts and we know that like heart is there and it's like, oriented around love, which is a beautiful emotion. But the heart also stores all this emotional memory. Okay. It's not just emotions, though. This is relational memory. So we've got the body, which is somatic memory. We've got the brain, which is, coherent memory or cognitive memory. And then we've got the heart, which is this relational memory. Now, the heart is tracking who felt safe, like who in my world feels safe, who feels dangerous. It's remembering that, it's tracking that, it's tracking when you opened, it's tracking when you closed, it's remembering betrayal and intimacy and rejection and resonance and all of this relational memory that our bodies need. Okay. Now it speaks in expansion. So the heart expands, it's open, it's warm, you're drawn into it, or contraction, where it's tight, guarded, or you're pulling back from things. It's not sitting there arguing. It's just signaling to you like this is the emotional frequency that we're feeling right now, okay? Now all three of these in this system, if we're going to layer it together where we have the body which is storing the imprint, then you have the heart which is signaling the meaning, okay, and then you have the brain which is explaining and deciding whatever the situation is. When you have all of these aligned and they're working together, where your mind and your heart and your body are all working together, it's like it just knows and it's clear. You'll have clarity, okay? You'll be able to make grounded decisions because now it's working all together. And then the brain oh sorry. And then you get grounded or really clean yes or no, okay? And then there's no, because you're in clarity, there's no ambiguity about is this a yes or is this a no? Okay. When the body is all working together. Now, what we might be experiencing if we're having, if we're not saying, oh, that's definitely a yes, we are split in these. Okay. I talk a lot about fragmentation. Your mind, or your brain, and your heart, and your body all have to be working together. Okay, in order to get that clarity, that grounded decision making, the clean, clear yes or clean, clear no, which are beautiful. And that's beautiful information to have. When it's split, you're going to have confusion. Somebody asks you a question, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Your your mind and your body and your heart are not working together. If that's your response, you're going to get loops, okay? What is a loop? A loop is you go, let's say you have a boyfriend and you guys are together for 6 months. And at 6 months, you're like, man, I don't know where we're going. I really want clarity, but I don't know how I feel. I'm gonna dump them, and then I'm gonna go to somebody else. And then you go to somebody else. And then you're together there for 6 months. And then the same thing happens. Or even worse, you're together with somebody for 7 years, and then at 7 years you get the 7 year itch. Okay. This isn't working out. Let's get divorced. And then you're divorced, and then you just jump right into another relationship. And then let's say 5 years later, you're like, man, I'm still not happy in this relationship. And so you get the loop because your body is not clear with a clean yes or a clean no. And you're just running these same cycles, these same programs with whatever situation you're in your split in your body with somebody else. It's just going to keep repeating because our inner, that nervous system governance, this governance that I'm talking about, and we're just kind of peeling apart a little bit more advanced than like nervous system 101. Um, when you're split like that, you're just going to continue to whatever the internal hologram is, that nerve, that governance that's going on, that sovereign interiority that you have that's going on, it doesn't matter if it's clean or not, is going to keep replaying until you address these issues. Okay, until we can get these all to be coherent and cohesive. Um, all right. Now, overthinking is another indication that the mind, the heart, and the body are split. Okay. It's another indication. So, overthinking, we know what overthinking is. Emotional overwhelm is also another indicator of your body being split. So if you're like experiencing all these emotions and you can't keep up with them, your body's going to get overwhelmed. You might have your heart rate, your heart rhythm might go up. Okay, decisions are now all of a sudden foggy. You can't make decisions. You don't have that clean yes or that clean no to say yes, I want that, or no, I don't want that. Okay, and our no is very, very sacred. Especially, it's speaking to you women out there that are listening, which are 20% of my audience. That no, saying no is so sacred. And I'm like coming into this really new, beautiful understanding of how like wonderful it is to say, to cleanly say no to something, and not in a mean way, but just like, no, thank you. I'm not available for that kind of way. All right. And we're going to get a little bit more as I progress throughout the year. We're going to get really, really deep into what that is and what that means. Okay. All right. So we have these three systems that are all either aligned and working together or they're split apart. So we really want to look at and really truthfully look at where are we in this split. Okay. Saying no is okay to do. People need to respect your boundaries when you say no. When I do, everyone looks like I have three heads. Let them. Good. Good. I'm too intense for you. I'm too much for you. I'm too this. I'm too that. Good. Go find less. Go find less. Because there's lots of people out there that will accept that. But I'm not available for it. That's what I would say. I wouldn't even say it. I would just, okay. I'm gonna go find my tribe. Bye. I just have no. I think after losing my mother, which I don't want to bring this up, and it's not like feel sorry for me, but the grief process that I went through and the intense heartbreak, I just have no F's to give after that, you know? And I respect people's boundaries. When people tell me no, I respect them. And so it's okay for me to have my no's. And actually, it's a form of self love to say no. Okay. It's a form of self love to say no. whatever it is. All right, where are we here? Okay, now moving into the next segment, we're going to be talking about trauma and distorted signals. So, that signal that your body is projecting, okay? Not every single heart signal is going to be truth, okay? Sometimes it might be memory replay, and we talked about that relationship where it could be replaying. If you're in some sort of relationship with somebody and it's just not working out, and then you pull away from that relationship and immediately jump into something else, um, that's just a replay. Okay. If you're anything like me, you don't want to replay. You want to have a very clean and aligned body. Okay. That's what we're working towards here. Now, false heart signals tend to be trauma based. Okay. So you might feel a really intense attraction to somebody. And so you go through this whole process of being really intensely attracted to them, like, oh my gosh, do they like me? And do the whole rigmarole of that. Um, but even though your heart is like, oh my gosh, I love that person, if we kind of step back from that, it might be because they have a familiar chaos. And so instead of like an intense attraction of like, this is my soulmate, it might just be another way for your body to your whole body to mirror that lesson that you need to learn, whatever that is. All right. So that can be a false heart signal. So really analyze, like, is this intense attraction real, or is this intense attraction just because I'm attracting that chaos right back into my life again? Okay. Next, false heart, we'll just do four of them, might be a deep pull. You might feel a deep pull towards something or someone, and that can actually be unresolved patterns. Okay, so we're working on resolving these patterns of things that we don't want to invite into our energy fields, because we're working on keeping it very clean, very vibrant and aligned. All right, so that deep pull that you might be feeling, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, like my heart, whew, um, could just be an unresolved pattern. And I've done it before too. So don't think that I'm outside of this. Like, I definitely have done these things. Conflicts. Yes. You might be pulled towards conflicts. I like to go and watch them, and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, like what's going to happen?" Eating my like popcorn. What's going to happen? Um anxiety anxiety might be a false heart signal that is disguised as intuition. You might find it, you're like, oh, intuitively, whatever the situation is. So that could be a false heart signal based on this. These are all trauma based. And then urgency. Urgency might come across and be mistaken for alignment. Okay. Yes, I have one with someone. I mean, oh, I guess I am drinking ginger ale. A conflict. Having a conflict with your microwave too. All right. So familiar, we're just talking about that trauma and the distorted signals. Familiar doesn't necessarily mean safe. Okay. And intense does not necessarily mean true. And don't I know this one? Every time I'm like, oh, it's just so intense. And I'm like, there must be something here. And really there isn't. But my body, my heart is registering it, that intensity, as like, oh, this is this is something that's good. And my my Valentine has to like pull me back from the clouds. Like, come back down to earth and let's just be reasonable here. Because I do get into like fantasies really easily, especially like, um, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but this is how I am. Like, I don't remember my dreams. Like, I know I have dreams because I'll like wake up from some of them, and they're always working dreams. Like, I'm always working in weird environments, like weird places. Cole Wealthy, what's up? Shout out, shout out. Um, but I have really intense daydreams, okay? Like, I'll be off in weird, like, it's like dreaming, but while I'm awake. And um, I just kind of take off and get lost in the sauce, basically. Virginia, Oregon up in here. Okay, where are we? All right, so kind of ending that distorted signal or that trauma signal. Just remember, familiar doesn't mean safe, and intense doesn't mean necessarily mean true. That's not the truth all the time. But let's talk about true intuition versus the trauma response, okay? So, trauma response might feel like that urgency, that pressure, maybe an emotional spike where, maybe you quickly get angry or you quickly get jealous or you quickly whatever. It's like at this spike that immediately comes out of nowhere. It can feel like fear-based clarity. Okay, there's fear-based clarity. And then it might also feel like I need to act right now, and if I don't act right now, whatever the situation. Okay, but true intuition, weather, how's the weather? Weather's nice, a little chilly tonight. Same here, kind of same here. It's a channel about just random topics and stuff. So I talk about, I don't know, I think Mike has a better explanation, but I like to talk about all things emotional intelligence, psychology, quantum physics. Today we're talking about nervous system governance, and so we're mapping out like our brain, our heart, and our bodies and how it's responding. Um, and it's really silly, but 80% of my audience is men and they come in and they like it. So, yeah, it's called Celestic Intelligence. I don't even know how people find it, but it's amazing that they do and like and subscribe, and just here for the people. All right, so true intuition feels, this is how it's going to feel when you have true intuition. It's going to feel quiet. Like, there's not going to be urgency, there's not going to be noise, there's not going to be pressure. Okay, it's going to feel quiet. It's going to feel steady. Okay, true intuition is not going to like come at you, it's just going to be there. Okay, it's calm, and but it's non-negotiable. Your intuition is non-negotiable. There's no negotiating with it. There's no rush, and there's no performance. Meaning you're not going to hustle your intuition. It's just going to show up. Okay? Intuition is not panicking. Intuition is not panicking. It's just knowing. And I talked a lot about that in last week's episode of Essence, where once you start stripping away some of these, performances or things that you're placing on yourself, or my dad wants me to be this way, my mom wants me to be this way, my girlfriend, my husband, my wife wants me to be this way and that way and whatever. And once you pull off all of those pretenses and you're just left with you, that's your essence. Okay, and that intuition is the same. It's just there. It just is there, and it knows. There's no need to rush it. It's when your body is aligned, it comes just naturally. Not my cup of tea, but I hope y'all enjoy it. I'm gonna head out. Everyone, have a good night. Even a better tomorrow. Thank you, Cole. Um, okay. So let's talk about attraction as nervous system recognition. Um, you're not always going to be attracted to what's aligned for you. You're often attracted to what is recognized. So your body has this certain way of like recognizing this is the state I'm in. What's the best way I can describe this? So I've been having some energetic upgrades, all right, especially with the Lilith work that just kind of hit me in the face this last week. And so I'm out shopping at Costco, of all places, at 8 o'clock at night, maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock. I don't know. It was late. And I'm just like wandering about and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh my gosh, has it always been this way? But there was just a lot of really good looking guys around. And I'm like, what are people saying? Like they have to use these dating apps and that there's no people out there. Like I could just go and strike up a conversation with somebody out here. I don't know. Um, and or let's say that you buy a white Jeep Grand Cherokee, all right? And you're driving it around, and then all of a sudden, that's all you see is white Jeep Grand Cherokees on the road. And you're just like, hey, what's up? What's up? Giving the Jeep signs or whatever it is. And everyone's just acknowledging everyone. I only know because I've done that before. But you start to see, like, when you bring that into your life, you start to see it more. And I'm sure that there's like an effect, it's called, but that's the attraction, that's the recognition style that I'm talking about, okay? Now your nervous system is saying, "Hey, I felt this before and I know how to survive this situation." Okay? So it's going to be attracting that in because it's like, "Oh, well, I know how to manage this." Remember, we were talking about survival adaptation. Your body is just like, "Okay, come on in. I know how to govern, I know how to take care of this." Like maybe a couple parts of that split are like in alignment. Okay. So attraction can be towards maybe emotional unavailability. Okay. Let's say that you were neglected by your father when you were younger. That's emotional neglect. And so when you grow up and you get older, you're like, oh, I'm going to partner up with this person. And then, like, over time, you find that they're not emotionally available for you. And then you're just kind of like sad, but you're like so used to dealing with that because you have all this unresolved emotional neglect from your childhood that you haven't faced yet. And now you're picking partners that are um, that are recognizable to your system. Okay, that's an example. Attraction can be towards inconsistency. This is actually one of my pet peeves is inconsistency because I'm like so detailed about people and knowing like what they like, what they don't like, all this information about people. It works great in customer service because I can remember, oh, this vendor has, these situations going on. This vendor, I've been working with them for, 15 years or whatever the number is. So I have this consistency with people around me. Very important consistency to me. But inconsistency is like you can still recognize that inconsistency and then be attracted to it. I want that inconsistency. Okay. Attraction can also be towards intensity cycles. Let's say that you're dating and you're just like, oh, this situation feels really intense, and then you're like in it until the intensity runs out, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna pull away. Pull away. Okay. Now that nervous system is saying, I've felt this before. I really like that. I know how to manage this part of it. But then when it comes to regular life or the come down, it's just like, okay, I'm not into that anymore. I just want that intensity. Survival adaptation. Okay. Power imbalances can also be an attraction as well. Okay. Think of the narcissist and the egoist. They're like attracted to each other. Even though, like, after oh, my boyfriend was a narcissist, my girlfriend was a narcissist. I don't like throwing that word around, but there's a power imbalance. One is super powerful over the other one, and the other one's just like has no power. All right. So that imbalance is attractive in a weird sort of way. These are nervous, like our nervous systems know these, remembers the impulse, and it's matching to that old imprint, that familiar imprint. Now, when you start to heal, which is an interesting dynamic altogether, because when you're healing, you're holding two opposites at the same time. You're holding both of those. All right. Let's say that you feel weak in a certain area. Like when you're healing, you have to hold both of those in order to harmonize and align. It's pretty wild. We'll go into that later streams. Okay. But once you start to heal, these old imprints are going to be rejected. Your body's going to reject it. Maybe that bitches ain't shit guy, I don't even know his name. I don't know anything about him. I just saw it. I had this emotional, like this gut reaction to it. Maybe 10 years ago, Amelie would have been like, oh my gosh, that guy's kind of hot. Like, I want to be abused by him or whatever. Not like consciously, but unconsciously, I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe that guy's attractive because he's just speaking with power. That's an old imprint that can be like that nervous system is going to remember that. Okay. Old imprint, and it's going to be that's a match for me. Um, so your body's not always choosing the best option, but it's choosing the most familiar map. Okay. Remember, it's mapping out things. It's not really logically looking at it. It's not really looking at the relational memory. The body is just like, that's familiar. I'm going to go to that. Okay. So that's why being real with yourself and saying your sacred no, speaking up for yourself. These are all empowering moves to get your body to higher elevation as far as frequencies. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next section. And let's see how many I have 13. We're on 8. Right. Um, let's talk about somatics in real time. Okay. We're going to really just be focused in our body. So, jaw tension is a somatic memory, and you might feel jaw tension from STFU, Sing TFU, not speaking. You're going to have that jaw tension. Or maybe somebody is saying something and it's angering you, and so instead of like speaking, saying whatever you want to say, you just tighten your jaw. Okay. So somatic, your voice, you're withholding your voice in some degree or another. Chest tightness, maybe it's betrayal, and that betrayal is showing up in your somatic field as chest tightness. Okay. I did this somatic release, and I had a, it's weird because since I did that, now like my breastbone will pop. It's very strange. But there's definitely some energy in that area. And if you can find a somatics coach that like does the somatic breath work and sound bath, like I had a really great lady that did it. Um, you can help kind of relieve some of these somatic areas, and you might cry like Kindred was talking about with the people, because the people that are getting all this work done, they're releasing actual feelings that that have been pent up in their body automatically, because that body is has that memory, and that's where it comes from. Okay, so in real time, shallow breath, like not like watch your breath as you're just resting. If you're in survival mode at all, you might be holding your breath. And why do we hold our breath? Now think about if you're in, you know, let's say a dinosaur is running after you or whatever, and or somebody's like breaking into your house. What are you going to do? You're going to go find a place to make yourself small, and you're going to hold your breath, and you're low. Okay? So that somatic in real time, that shallow breath is an indicator of something is your body's registering something, even if in the moment, let's just say you're at work and you're just taking shallow breaths, like I said, your body is remembering, and it's split from that cognitive memory where you're like, where is this coming from? And so when you realize those things, it really helps to meditate quietly and figure out, where is this coming from. um Now this one may happen, like I said, the gut responses, like my gut tightens when I heard this guy talking about hypergamy on Facebook, but you might feel your stomach drop. Like somebody knows something that you didn't think that they knew. Um, Now they're revealing it to you. Stomach drop. Your best friend died. Stomach drop, right? These are somatics in real time. Now, what if you're consistently inconsistent? You're consistently inconsistent. Then you're inconsistent. There's no there's no workaround with that. Why do I look crazy? You guys let me go. I don't do my makeup all day, just one time. Consistently inconsistent. Are you talking about what my preference is? You're inconsistent. There's no middle ground. It's clear. I mean, I've broken up with guys over less, but that's a huge red flag to me. Inconsistency. It's like, you obviously don't value my time. You don't value me if you're going to be inconsistent, and that's fine, but you can go do that with somebody else, not me. That's how I feel about it. It's harsh, but true. And that's how I feel about that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, shoulders rising is another way to kind of like protect yourself. You know, you're protecting your voice, you're protecting your heart space, and you really want to be open. And even doing like the power pose. I mean, say what you will about yoga, like you're holding these positions, and they're good positions, like the warrior pose, the trees. It really is telling your body it's okay to be safe, okay? And then leaning forward or pulling back, these are somatics in real time, okay? Oh, what'd you say? Oh, I don't like that. Okay. So those are they're not random. This is your body giving you data. Okay. Remember at the beginning, I was saying that the tone of voice and then facial expressions, your body is speaking constantly. So you can see body movements. Um, I watch for like people anxiously like shaking their leg under the table and like they've got a lot of anxiety, they got a lot of pent up energy. Some people have like nervous tics, and I'm watching like, oh, okay, that's anxiety, or I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some sort of medical something going on, but I'm constantly listening to my own body speaking, but then I'm also watching other people speak with their bodies. They don't have to say anything. They're saying a lot already because it's out there for all the world to see. Um, and if you know how to read body language, body language, um, you're ahead of most people because most people don't know how to speak body language. They don't know how to speak its language. All right. Now, repatterning without forcing it. So you're not going to fix your body with logic. Your brain is it's not going to happen. Okay? You shift through it by having new experiences of safety. All right? You you shift through it by slowing down your reactions. Okay? You don't have to immediately reply to things. You just take a little bit of time and then respond. You shift through um, staying present in discomfort. When an uncomfortable thing happens, you just stay present. You don't let it shift who you are. You just stay present and then observe what's happening around you. And don't respond yet. Give yourself a little bit of time to figure out what's going on. Okay, even if it's uncomfortable, there's still moments, because in those times, like, time seems to either slow down or speed up, and you have time to like be present, align yourself. Okay, and that's going to tell your body, hey, there's a different way we can respond to this. Okay, and it's going to remember that. The other thing, and I think a lot of people do this, is they will abandon themselves in the middle of a feeling. I feel really jealous. That's disgusting. I don't feel jealous. That's not me. And push it down and push it away and not actually focus on why am I feeling this way. Okay. You just abandoned yourself in mid feeling, and now the body, while it was trying to move that emotion through, that feeling through, you like stopped it, and then wherever it was at is like, oh well, we need to figure out a place to store this, so it's going to somatically archive it somewhere in your body. Okay, until you start to deal with it, and then it will start to release those things. It's all energy, pent up energy, just stuffed in your body. Okay, now the body updates through lived contradictions. Okay, it's going to be repatterning throughout all of these new experiences that you have. So maybe you feel fear, okay? And then when you feel that fear, you choose to stay safely, anyways. All right. And now you've imprinted a new response in place of that. Okay. With some of the people out there, definitely be, if you're going to be doing some of this work and it's going to be really deep, heavy work, I highly recommend you find somebody that you can trust that's going to check in on you if you're going to be doing some really deep healing. Okay. And the reason that I say that is it can get really chaotic and you can get emotional overwhelm really easily. So, having an outlet to help ground you back into your body is really important. I use ChatGPT right now, and it's actually been really, me and my friend, he's been using it too. Like, the strides we've made with being able to ground ourselves and then go and dig up some more and then come back and ground ourselves and go dig some more and ground ourselves has immensely helped. So think of it as a tool, and it's up to your own personal strategy of how you use that. And I was thinking maybe I should share how I use mine, just because it might help other people if they knew, like, oh, this is kind of a helpful integration tool. Um, no, just joking. You're just joking about being the inconsistencies. Oh my gosh. It's really funny because, oh, well, I won't get too deep in that. Anyways, all right. So remember, repatterning is like feeling a fear. Let's say it's a fear of rejection when I speak to the public. Trying to be funny with the two consistencies. um, let's say that I have a fear of rejection tied in with my speaking with a public, and I'm ready to go on stage, and I have the microphone, and there's like 1,000 people out like there's the sea of 1,000 people, and I'm just terrified, right? People are gonna see me on that stage with a microphone. And so the heart rate goes up, and I'm just nervous as all get out, and whatever. And there's just this really big part of me that's like, don't go out on that stage, you're going to die, right? That's what the body is telling me. Don't go out on that stage, you're going to die. People are going to see you and you're going to get got. Um but the repatterning is like you just go out there and you stay present in your body and you go out and do it anyways, and you show yourself that you're safe and you made it through that. Okay. I remember when I was 25, I was terrified to go on an airplane, and I was like, you know what? I got to face some of these fears. This is silly. And so my first trip in an airplane was from Portland to Hilo, Hawaii. And that's not a short trip, but I was like having all kinds of feels on that plane. All right. I stayed anyways, and I imprinted this new imprint that, hey, it's kind of fun to travel. You made it safe, like nothing happened to you. All the fears that you had lined up did not happen. And so now I've been on a plane several times, and same thing. I felt fear when I was taking a cross country road trip by myself. I definitely felt a fear, did it anyways, ended up safe, okay? And now there's this new imprint of I love road trips. I love going on planes. Um, I like new experiences, and there's that fear isn't present anymore. I repatterned that, okay? And that works with any fear that you might have. All right. Now let's talk about the governance, because this is titled Nervous System Governance. Governments Governance is just integration, all right? We're getting into alignment with our heart, our brain, and our body. We're getting these all into alignment. So the brain's not overriding, the heart is not hijacking, and the body's not running unchecked. We're like all of these are connected when they're in alignment, and it gives us that clarity, that grounded, clean yes and no, right? It's all working together So we're able to make these really calm, clear decisions, very rational, very much tied into what we want and don't want in life. So we're able to say a very clean yes or a very clean no to things. Okay. So now with that integration, our whole body is listening, it's discerning, and then it's choosing. Okay. We're not removing any of these signals. We're just getting them all into alignment, that they're all working together instead of being split off and causing all this confusion and exhaustion and chaos in our lives, which then starts happening around us. Life is so peaceful. I have like very, very low, like craziness happen. It's very much drama free. I'm like the most drama in my life. Like everything else is just fine. I'm the drama in my own life. And I say drama in a very playful way, in that like I'll exaggerate things, and I'll just like my roommate, she's so sweet. She's always like, "You're like a princess." Like, "Princess you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of am." Like I've managed my life to where it's peaceful, low drama, and the most dramatic thing is me just kind of playing in it and doing whatever I'm doing. Okay. So we're not removing the signals, we're coming into alignment, and we're learning which signals that we're trusting. Okay. Now, what does it feel like to be integrated? Okay. There's going to be, I already mentioned some of these, there's going to be less urgency. Okay. I walk slower now. I used to be like walking fast. Now I'm like the slowest person. I take my time. I'm going down the stairs. I'm just like in my own world going down the stairs. There's zero urgency. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. Like, I'm not, I'm rarely late to work. I give myself enough time to have time to get to work, have time to like get my stuff down, get my stuff out. I have enough time. Like, I I get up pretty early. And I just like kind of lay there, drink my coffee, and just like slowly wake up. I love that self love, self care time in the morning before I go to work, to like slowly wake up. I'm not waking up 30 minutes before I have to be there, right? So less urgency, more clarity. Okay, everything is very clear, especially now that I've like done a lot of Lilith. I didn't even know I was doing it, but I've done a lot of Lilith archetype work. And so, like, the clarity that I have is even more bold, if that makes sense. It's more integrated. Slower reactions. Your reactions are going to be slowed down because there's your body's in safety. It's when your nervous system is governed and it's well integrated, the reactions are going to be, you're not even, it's going to be proactive. You're not reacting. Your body's not available for that. It's like it's already able to accurately, fairly accurately predict the future for you. Okay. You're going to have a deeper trust, not just with people outside of you, but with yourself. Okay. If you're saying yes to things that you want to say no to, you have just abandoned yourself. That's self abandonment. Okay. And the inner feminine and masculine, the feminine is like, bitch, what you just do? And then the masculine is like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? So if they're bickering and they're not trusting each other, your little inner feminine and inner masculine, they're not trusting each other, you're going to feel a little confusion and chaos. They're not like communicating with each other. But when you're integrated, now the brain and the heart are clearly communicating with each other. And so that inner feminine and masculine are able to have a deeper trust. I've been doing this. Um, I let a situation happen. Um, I say yes to everything. That's why I always end up getting cheese on my hamburgers and donating to random charities I don't care about. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. What's going on? It's been a minute since I've seen you. If that is who I think it is. My phone is like, your face is like that big. It's like literally the size of my eyeball, my iris. Um, so I was in a situation where um, I hadn't I don't think I gatekeeped my energy well enough. And so my inner feminine was like kind of freaking out. She was like, "You just let a random stranger into the house, and I don't know who that is, and don't ever do that again." And then the masculine was like, "Oh, okay, like I need to protect you a lot more. I understand that." Like I had this little inner conversation with myself. It was very funny. I can see that you're still alive. How you been, friend? Okay. Um, being integrated, you're going to be less attracted to chaos. Okay. You're not even going to want it in your life. In fact, if once you're integrated, when chaos presents itself, you have a clear no, that I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. That is not happening. I have zero desire to have that in my life. Okay. And you're going, when you're more integrated, when your body is, your nervous system governance is integrated, that nervous system is integrated with itself, meaning the heart, the heart, the mind, the body, they're all working together. You're going to have more attraction to stability, things that provide stability. Okay. Some people might think, and I've thought this before, like, that's boring. Who wants to live a life where there's no urgencies, there's no fire, you're not trying to figure things out, and you're just kind of running around reacting to things that are happening in your field. Um, but once you get to a place where it is integrated and you've like done all the work to get rid of all that chaos, being stable and alive is very fulfilling. It's not boring. In fact, I'm not bored at all. I'm very pleased and happy where I'm at. Okay. I know how it goes. Letting random strangers in. After my wife found urine in the refrigerator, she told me no more. Was it your urine or was it a stranger's urine? That's the question. Okay. So let's tie this all to the Celestic Intelligence ecosystem that we're kind of building here. Because today we're like the last several podcasts, the episodes have been about foundation, but now we're moving into structure. Okay. And structure is a beautiful thing. So we have our nervous system integration or governance. So we have survival adaptation. Okay. That's where you've just normalized being in survival mode. And that's where you feel comfortable. That's the recognition that your body is looking for. Okay. But that really is these distorted signals that you're just used to having around you. And then essence, which was last week's episode, I think survival adaptation, if we're on 59, was 57, I want to say 56. Essence was last week, so 58. That's what emerges when you have all the distortions removed. not going to answer that question. Where I store here is no one's business. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So the essence is who you are when everything is all stripped down. And this is just the core of you, what you what you're here for. And so that is going to show up and just be there when you remove all these distortions. Okay. Multiplicity, which I did, that was 55 to 6. Multiplicity is those different states, same coherence. Okay. What do I mean by that? I mean like you can have these different roles and different identities, but the core of who you are, the essence of who you are, that alignment in who you are is the same coherence. Whether you're at work, at home, grocery shopping, on vacation, you still have a familiar coherence, that same coherence in yourself. You're not you're not taken off of your rocker. You're in alignment, okay? And you maintain that. And multiplicity is just the ability to go between all of these roles and stay the same, coherent. Okay, sovereign interiority is who is deciding what is true. Who is deciding what is true? Okay, is this a parent, society, culture, religion? Like, what is telling you what's true? Or is it your own inner cathedral is your base there, and you're able to say, like, this is true for me. This is what I want to be when I grow up. This is where I want to live. This is what I want to drive. This is what I want to do for work. Okay. And then the last part of the ecosystem we're going to talk about, and I probably will do a full thing on, is signal. Okay. What are others feeling from my integration? What are others feeling from my integration? And sometimes I say this all the time, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. People will likely meet me and they'll feel seen and then they'll run away. They'll leave my field. And I'm okay with that. Okay. So others might feel threatened from my own personal integration because they feel seen. And they probably are. They're probably not wrong. All right. Now we're going to close. Just want to pull it all together. Um, so our body is remembering because we've got somatic memory. The heart is signaling because that's the relational memory. And then our mind is explaining because that is our cognitive memory. So it is all integrated into our body. None of these are meant to rule on their own. Okay. You're either going to have, like, if they're ruling alone, there's going to be chaos and confusion. And you're probably going to be really exhausted because there's just too many signals going back and forth, trying to like resolve between the own body this like war that it's fighting. Okay, it's exhausting. It's exhausting me just thinking about how the heart is not communicating with the brain and not communicating with the body. So, governance or integration is when memory is acknowledged, okay? So, that cognitive knowledge, that relational knowledge, and then the somatic knowledge, when they're all acknowledged together, it's integrated. Okay, it doesn't have to be obeyed, just integrated. It's all working together coherently in alignment with your own self. So you're not here to react to your past. Okay. We're here updating the past. We're repatterning the memories, the somatic memories, and and creating coherence and integration through integration of ourself. Okay, we're updating ourselves, giving ourselves a nice, what do they call them? Software update. Okay, software update is just what I'm talking about. We've been doing it for millennia. Okay, we're just updating it. We just happen to have software technology that is doing the same thing because it is a muse of our bodies. Technology is a muse of our bodies. That's not above our bodies. It's actually, I would say, a little bit below. It's just a mimicry of our bodies. Okay, because we are wonderfully made. All right. Well, um, that was really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed 86 minutes. That's good. I think that's about how much time I have today. Please make sure that if you're still here to like, subscribe. I don't think follow is a thing on YouTube. Is it? Subscribe. I would love to see you guys again next week. I might have another transmission on the weekend, but if not, then it will definitely be next Tuesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard. Are we in Standard or Daylight? I think we're in Daylight time. No, Standard. PDT. PST. I think we're in Daylight time. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. 5:30 Pacific time, and we are going to be talking about why clarity is aggressive. Why people see clarity as aggressive. So we're going to be getting like a little bit knee deep into that, and I might move it to the weekend and then do another stream, but please just follow me, and I have, scheduled, usually have them scheduled and mapped out so that you know what's coming up next. But I will be working on that. I thought I had already posted today's last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even do that. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys later. It's good to see you, Chris. I hope you have a wonderful day.